how to do a spider boss fight. So I'll just do a quick rundown. So basically, you gotta go to here and to do select your heist setup. And the spider boss fight is this heist. Uh, Quick notice that if you finish any of these stages, you can pick any one of them and do again. So for now, I can just pick the boss fight here, spider boss fight. And then what you gotta do is fighting the spider. I'm gonna skip this conversation because briefings lore.
The shield.
Alright, so I'm gonna go into my equipment and the steps of doing this fight. So first of all, in the spider boss fight, besides fighting the spider, there are tons of ads and enemies, and they do massive damage. So a really good Warframe to pick is Chroma here. People could go support like Trinity or others, or mess to kill ads, but really Chroma's good for this because he can tank so much damage, and with the return of dealing so much damage, and with this build right here, a quick glimpse if you look at this. This is a heavy investment, and there could be changes to your liking here, but mostly what you want is high duration and strength. And in the spider boss fight, there are a lot of knockdowns, so you kind of want a form of resisting CC. I'm using handspring, but definitely tons of other mods you can use instead. Okay, for the spider boss fight, you need specific weapons here. When it comes to fighting the spider will have a specific type of shield, and it will display on its head. You will see it in the following run. So basically, it will be like this. The spider will have a symbol of an element or a damage type. For example, the spider will have the symbol of viral on its shield. That will mean the spider will only take viral damage and whatnot. So for this boss fight, you need specific weapon types and damage. For my example, Tigers right here, my Tigers can do heat slash viral. My Redeemer can do gas. And then Euphona, I'm working on a kick gun that can do better, but for now this is all I have. My Euphona can do radiation and impact, but it doesn't do it very well, so working on a kick gun for that. So basically, you want a different weapon types and stuff. If you're doing this with a team, it'd be okay or cool to have like different weapon types in a team. Like you have these setups, and you can tell your teammates to have different elements than you. A really good primary for this, instead of using Tigris, you can use Rubico Prime. Rubico Prime is a really good one. I haven't made a good Rubico Prime build for the Spider boss fight, I will later. But if you want to get up close and personal with Chroma, Tigris is the way to go. Note this, there is a magnetic proc if you get too close to Spider, so that will mess you up a little bit. Other thing about the boss fight is, both class-wise and system, you would need to pick, if I can switch to my operator. So for my operator selection, I would use mostly Zenuric right here, just for the energy, purely for my Chroma, because keep up his buffs. That's mostly it. There's not too much involvement of operator abilities for this. Just use Zenuric to help you. Another thing is that arcane wise, I would use, and that's really helpful. Is I'm using two sets of Elevate. Elevate is a very expensive arcane, but extremely good. And this is another form of healing because in the fight, there's a lot of ads shooting you, and like medium spiders, for example, will be also shooting you. So even if Chroma can take a lot of heavy fire, it's still a lot of damage. So having a form of healing is very good for this fight, increase survivability. And another thing about the spider boss fight, when it comes to the shield, per se, let's say the spider shield is corrosive. I don't have corrosive, so another thing you can do is using your amp. If you shoot the spider with your amp, it will re-roll the damage type, so you can change the element that it needs for a spider. You can see that. You'll see that later. And then last thing for the build is to cover over is the heavy gun you need to use. So right now I'm using the Veloctus heavy gun. Very good heavy guns for the fight. You guys choose only one if you're starting this. Is the Veloctus or the Imperial? These are both very good guns for spider fights only. You can use any other gun for regular content or the spider fight, but the most effective is the Veloctus or the Imperator, so I'm using this. The spider gun, for the spider, it has the same health as the Eidolon alloy armor, meaning radiation damage is the best for the spider, which is the best way to hurt it. And using this gun in the fight, you just have to select it out of your gear wheel, but if you put it away, it will be on cooldown for 5 minutes. luckily in this fight, the game will reset your cooldown for you, so you can use it again for damage phase, and that's about it. So without further ado, let's just go through the game and see how it plays out. George, I want to kill myself. I'm no
Why?
Brozyme.
Damn it, man. Well,
You
of
think
course, you
you
have
think
scripts.
he really does. He's awesome. Like, how the hell are you supposed to stand up for yourself to talk like an awesome, badass leader who's like giving you a tutorial rundown in video form? I'm just a kid. Well, not anymore. But mostly this is
I was
just
about to
show.
say you're past 18, so
Yeah. So like no, literally this video is just to show my friend and I guess anybody else who wants to see this how like this literally plays out and how it looks for anybody not knowing or
yeah,
who can handle any complicated steps to this fight to
yeah.
just get make it more simplified. Right now I'm loading up. One thing about this fight is it's better to load up with a team because once you load up, teammates are going to join you like 3 minutes later per se. Another thing about this fight, it's not as hard as idolining, so technically you can solo this. I could maybe, but I still need a kit gun. So you can solo this, but it is possible with a team and not harder. The spider will have 3 different spawns. Honestly, the left spawn and that spawn are the best. The spawn over there is not the greatest, so we got a pretty good spawn. I'm gonna wait for the rest of my team to load in because the spider will have different phases, not too hard, but on the last phase we'll have a timer, so I'm gonna wait for my team. We're having a Naros and Orbron so support, some guy tanky. It's interesting they're using Rubical Prime, so those are also good. And then we got another Chroma, this is really good. I'm gonna energize myself to preparing. So there's a spider over there if you want to see it. Right now, at the current point of the game, there's only one type of spider we'll most likely getting different boss fights later as progression and time goes. Right now it's trying to hurt me. I'm gonna put my buff on so I don't die. Using my arcane to heal myself, and while waiting for my teams, I might as well start. Prep up the shield for them. So I say the damage type change, I can't hurt that. Using my amp to change it again. It's a blast, I still can't do anything against that. Let's see if I can roll it again. Corrosive, I still can't do that. In most cases, yes, your Sentinel will die in this fight, so as something different we got good. Teammates are still loading. I'm still waiting. Okay, now it's viral, which means I can do damage on this. Changed again to puncture. I don't think I can cover that. Yeah, not that well because my pistol kind of sucks. My Orbron's here, but he's down. Slash, I can do that. It is now electricity. I can't do that. It's cold. I still can't do that. See, this is why it's better to have a team here to help you cover elements you don't have. Gas, I can do this. Magnetic, I can't do that. Oh, I think he's doing damage to that shield, so I'll let him do it. Okay, now the main shield is down, so this is where you take your arcing gun out.
Focus your arcwing weapons on the orb.
I'm getting some log, hold on.
Skeleton of the legs, and then work
Not what I wanted to use. Okay, now I'm bringing it out. See, I'm taking a lot of damage here. And now I'm using my gun. Got it down. Now I can do damage to the main head.
Heads up, Sparky.
Okay, at this part of the section, the spider will deploy shield generators. It's your job to go to them and take them down. So you don't want to put away your Arcwing gun out yet, because after you destroy the generators, you can shoot it again. I'll get this one. Charge.
Shields are waning. Whatever you're doing, it's working.
How do you shoot this one? Got it.
Another one down. You outworlders can thank me later.
Okay, now the shield's back down.
That did it. She's vulnerable. Aim true, Outworld.
Missed. Now do damage to the main head again. Done. And now you repeat. That's it. And then you just need to unselect your gun. And you can go. I can do this damage type. It's now Toxin. I can't do that. When you see me to do damage on that type. Close it now. Oh, I also know that I'm using Arcane Grace and Guardian for armor and help regen just a little bit more. Okay, shields down. Just where we can go again. See, now it's down. And then more pylons now. Try to follow where they're going.
Pylon. Wreck 'em.
Some more pylon up there. Oh, I can't get it. Let's see if he gets that. Shield's back up, so you gotta take it down one more time. Slash, I can do this.
Is this a bad time?
Okay, now we're on the final stage, and this one will have a countdown on it.
What is it?
Satellite just moved. Nev's crew must have figured out our bypass. It's realigning.
I don't know what shield type it is yet.
Sparky, we're running out of time. You have to kill her.
Magnetic, I don't have that.
We won't get another chance at this.
Impact, I kind of have that. Slash, I have that. George, I can't wait until I get Prime Surefoot. That's so good for this fight.
Oh yeah, dude.
And now you can do damage, I believe, to the legs. And this should be it.
I've only got a few orders left. Firing them all.
Do damage to the main head. And it's down. And that's it. Okay, so at this part, you want to wait for the spider to go down, so you can drop its main parts for you to collect. It takes a few seconds to try to take care of a few ads, maybe don't die, so you can get everything you need. See, now it dropped all its parts. You go pick them up.
Crap. We did it. We did it.
And then what you need to do is get the hell out of here because you'll see in a few seconds.
Get in there, Tenor. Rip out anything you think might help our cause. Biz, what's that sound?
I'll let you see this in a few seconds too, once it happens.
Overcharge the ore. At this rate, in a matter of seconds, it will.
Yeah, this guy, he's...
Run!
I gotta give you to this. I'm pretty sure I'm outside the blast radius, so you get a good look. And then kaboom! That's pretty bright. That was pretty awesome. And that's it. That's a whole spider fight done.
Drink. Let's never do that again.
LD, I still think it's strange. Why would your contact just let himself get killed? Quills don't make mistakes.
Quills don't make mistakes, and there's always an agenda. Always.
That's what I'm afraid of. Superlative work as always, Outwelder. Thank you. See you back in Fortuna. LD, UD, how about that drink?
And that is pretty much it of the rest of the fight. That's how it basically goes and runs down. I hope this helps or gives you a good idea of how it works. It can be, well, it can be done better or differently, however you can. So remember, there is a lot of damage to take in here, and different element types, and you will be fine. Also, make sure you have your arcing guns set to radiation damage, and that's pretty much it. So I really hope this helps out, and see y'all later.